going to talk a little bit about two different systems of measurement. We've learned all about the metric system already. We learned that the smallest unit of measure in the metric system is the centimeter. A centimeter is equal to 1 of the width of my pinky from here to here. We learned that we can group centimeters into chunks to make it easier to measure larger things. Instead of having to count all our little pinkies, we could put 10 pinkies into a group called a decimeter. So a centimeter is equal to 1 pinky. A decimeter is equal to 10 centimeters. It's a group of 10 centimeters, okay? We also learned that you might need an even bigger chunk of centimeters to measure something as big as maybe a doorway or one of those tall windows you might have in your house. So we would group them into a bigger chunk, so we'd have 100 centimeters. And when we have 100 centimeters grouped together, we call that a meter. So 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. Okay? This system for measuring is called the metric system. Okay? This system is actually used more in other countries than it is in the United States. It's important that you know about this system. It's important that you know about how big 1 centimeter is, about how big 10 centimeters would be. It'd be from the width of my hand from here to here. It might even be a little bigger. My hand is not very wide. Might be more like from here to here if I stretch my thumb out. And then how big about 100 centimeters would be, which would be about the length of my arms when they're stretched out. Actually, my arms are a little bit long for that, so it would be from my wrist to my other wrist stretched out. Okay. This is the measurement system that's used in other countries more than in our country. But if you're measuring, you're probably going to hear, sometimes you're going to hear about meters, and sometimes you hear about the other system of measurement that our country uses a little more. I'm going to switch sides so I can tell you all about the other measurement system. Our other system of measurement is called the standard system of measurement. And we've just started talking about these measurement units. The smallest unit, we learned on the video last time, is the size of your knuckle on your thumb where it bends to the tip of your thumb. That is an inch. So we have an inch is 1. Okay, this is 1 inch. Okay, if we needed to measure something bigger, we could chunk inches together into a group to measure something larger. Okay, if we chunk them into a group of 12, we learned on the last video 12 inches is the exact size that's in a ruler. Okay, 12 inches is what we call a foot. Okay, so we have a foot is the next chunk, and it has 12 inches in it. Okay, notice that so far these systems are a little bit different. They both have a small unit of measure first, but the meter system, the metric system, has a group of 10 to make a decimeter, but our standard system has a group of 12 for a foot. Tricky, tricky. Okay? Now the next unit of measure, or the next chunk for our standard system, is a yard. A yard is if you take 36 inches and chunk them together. You've probably heard about a yardstick. Your teacher probably sometimes uses a yardstick to point at things that are far away, or maybe you get to use it for other things in the classroom. So a yard is 36 inches long. Okay? So these are our two standard, or our two systems of measurement. Okay? One is used more in our country, and that is the standard system. But every learner needs to know about both the metric and the standard system, because you might decide you want to go buy some fabric at the store because you want to make your own curtains, maybe. Or maybe you're helping mom make you a new football jersey. Well, to do that, you have to measure fabric to get the right amount, right? So when you're measuring fabric, it's almost always measured in yards, okay? But maybe you're going to go to Home Depot and get something else like wood, and maybe you are looking to have that measured and cut in just the right size for what you're trying to make. It might be measured in feet, or it might be measured in meters. So you have to be able to understand both systems, because both systems are used with different things that you're measuring, buying, and using. You need to understand both systems and how they build on each other, how they get from smaller to larger, and how many units are in those chunks for the bigger measuring systems. Okay? So when I think about a centimeter and an inch, I can remember those are two small units of measure. The centimeter is in the metric system. It's even smaller than an inch. And the inch is in the standard system. And it's a tiny bit, it's bigger than the centimeter, but it is the smallest standard unit of measure in our standard measuring system.